I am not logged into Twitch. I could do that though.
I can do it, no worries.
Okay.
All right, hello everybody. Sorry for any early audio technicalities. Welcome to the A Link to the Past League Twitch here for another Week 5 matchup in the Desert Palace division of the Open League. I am Arya Stark 2942, joined on comms for this match by Blue Link. Blue Link, how are you tonight?
I'm pretty good. I've been really enjoying this mode, and hopefully we'll close out this week with another exciting match.
Yeah, Champions Ganon Hunt has definitely proven to be a pretty wild, a little bit volatile, but definitely exciting for viewers mode. Racers sometimes not as hot on it, but it has definitely not been short of excitement. And we've got two teams here in yet another Bonk represented by Coxla and missing two bows represented by Legendary Moon, who enter this race at 5-4. Very much still with playoff hopes on the line. So this match has some additional stakes here at the end of week 5.
Well, things seem to be pretty tightly together early on. We've got both of our runners going into escape.
Yeah, the escape start is a pretty standard one. Again, this mode champions Ganon Hunt, a 2 of 3 Triforce piece hunt. You do start with a sword and a boot, so it's pretty easy to start at Uncle, head into the front of escape to clean it out, and you see on Coxla's side, picking up that glove out of Zelda's cell, setting up a Death Warp. Moon down to 1 heart here against the ball and chain, taking it very patiently. Didn't want to avoid a death, and that would have been really costly given where the glove is here.
So it looks like neither runner is going to Dark Cross, and we just found the Titan's Mitt in Sanctuary, so that is interesting.
That was pretty tough. Game is really shorting these players on the gloves here. Taking all of 3 minutes to get mitts. I can't believe it. Slight minor divergence here as Moon is opting to do Bonk Rocks, whereas Coxla finds the small key and the map in the back of Escape along with the Swamp Big, which is not really key you're hoping to see.
And going into Dark Cross from the back makes way more sense now, because if the key didn't turn up there in the back of Escape, you would just ignore it.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good point. Yeah, that might have factored into the calculus there for Coxla. King's Tomb, just 5 rupees for Moon. Prior to that glove and Zelda cell, the only thing that the players really found in that escape sequence was a handful of bombs and the mushroom.
Well, we should be finding out any second now what's in Dark Cross, and it's the
Oh.
lamp, so...
Funny game. Oh, fire locking fire. Always have to love that. That is a lamp location that absolutely stymied me hard when I was first starting out playing this game or racing it. But
Oh yeah, advanced logic doing silly things with the fire rod.
And Coxla quickly here setting up a fake flipper to go turn in this mushroom. Super early free mushroom, very suspicious.
Yeah, very early on you just want to get this out of the way, I suppose. Getting our first map check, we have a vanilla red pendant at Hera. I saw the number 6 crystal at Eastern, and I didn't quite catch Desert.
Yeah, I spotted the exact same things, unfortunately. And yeah, there's a reset on Coxla's side, so just 20 rupees on that turn in, so he's going to save scum that mushroom.
Yeah, that makes sense, I suppose. It very rarely pays out if you have the mushroom to do fake powder with, but when it pays out, it is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is so early, and just a regular crystal out in desert. Um, so early that, and immediately after a free save and quit, you might as well save scum that one.
So getting that map check, let's just quickly go over the rules of this mode for those of you who don't know. So there are three Triforce pieces hidden. One is on pedestal, one is in Pyramid Fairy, and the third one is somewhere stashed in Ganon's tower basement. And our runners need to collect two of those Triforce pieces, and then they can go fight Ganon. And that was a shovel on Lumberjack Ledge.
That's not suspicious at all. Don't worry about it. No, just leave it there. That's a good spot to leave the shovel. I want no part of that one if I'm playing. And you did note the slight change in this mode that came about from the League in comparison to when it was introduced on ladder is that the seed does conclude with a fight against Ganon. It is an open Ganon mode, so once you have access to the pyramid, you can drop in at any time. So the players do not have to beat GT.
In fact, the GT big key is locked in the big chest, so you can't do the climb even if you wanted to. Oh yes, and if it wasn't already apparent, the big keys are shuffled, but the maps, compasses, and small keys are still in their respective dungeons.
Yeah, that often becomes a big question mark for the runners. It's not only do you need to get the items for specific dungeons, but finding the big keys for the ones that are hard locked can be particularly vexing at times.
And yes, something we've seen multiple times this week is you want to go for two Triforce pieces, but one of the things you need to get one of them is locked in GT, so you think you have choice, but it was actually an illusion the entire time.
Yeah.
So we found half magic in Blind's basement. That's nice to have.
Yeah, the 300 rupee drop there too is definitely helpful, especially in a boot start. You don't have to worry about the bottle guy here. You're going to be closer to Zora money for a prospective trip down to South Shore.
Oh, well, there's the fire rod putting that lamp in logic.
And another 300, okay. So a very rich early seed. A very early Pearl could make for some interesting divergence possibilities too, with those mitts coming so quickly. And flippers on top of that, alright.
So we've got the money for Zora, and we've got the flippers to do everything else in the area.
And a flute in the back of the tavern as well, so gonna be doing it even faster.
That could not be any more convenient.
And in this mode, and we have seen in a lot of races, obviously, it's not universal, but this mode has tended to favor relative thoroughness in the overworld, and having a super early flute makes it a lot easier to not possibly orphan some of those far out places. And right now, Moon holding a pretty commanding rupee lead of 666 versus 664, so Coxley's got a little work to do there to catch up.
In fact, half a heart and 2 rupees is all that's separating our runners right now.
There was a medallion here. It is ether. Yes. Obviously, do not know if we're going to need ether or any of the medallions, but you're certainly never going to turn that down early in a
Of
seed.
course. There are also a couple of specific rooms that are nice to have ether for to clear out real quick.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I have a question about this MSU we're listening to on Coxlow's side. This is from Octopath Traveler, but I didn't recognize the Kakariko Village music.
Hopefully somebody in chat will be able to help with that, because Octopath Traveler is unfortunately a game with which I'm not familiar. Oh, Moon is going to take the fish for a walk here.
This is especially entertaining, noting that our tracker, Obscure Lifeform, uses that fish as his sprite.
Oh, a fairy payout. That's pretty good. You have to appreciate that from Moon right there. Coxlet did give us a look of into Agina. I did not see anything of consequence come from that.
Neither did I. There was also just a piece of heart on Desert Ledge.
Well, never mind. Our tracker Obscure saying it is the Eastern Big, which could be of major consequence, actually. Thank you,
This is
Obscure.
why our trackers are our MVPs. Thank you.
Yeah. Moon coming away with a bottle, shield, the fillet in Mini Moldorm Cave. Yeah, those early flippers definitely going to be nice too, in terms of permitting the players to not have to really worry about orphaning any of these checks without the Moon Pearl here. Sometimes you get stuck when that water walk state, having to make a decision as to whether you check the guy under the bridge versus the waterfall ferry.
Of course, Legendary Moon setting up that water walk just for efficiency.
Yeah, with flippers plus flute, you can water walk your way to guy under the bridge, check that out, flute back to 8 and head to the Zora area if you so choose. And just 20 rupees on Lake Hylia Island. And we got the cape from our friend under the bridge, and a certain tower lit up bright green when that showed up there.
Alright, so this MSE was driving me nuts, so I had to go figure out what it was. Apparently this is the Octopath Traveler Mix MSU. I'm assuming that means a mix of Octopath Traveler 1 and 2, and I'm ashamed to admit I haven't actually played Octopath Traveler 2 yet.
So just a heart piece and 50 rupees in Waterfall Ferry. I'm going to check out the remainder of the Zora area. Just bombs on the ledge. Coxla following right on her heels.
Alright, and what is today's scam gonna be?
Ooh, 20 rupees back. It's pretty exciting. So it's getting close to decision time here for both players. They still have a couple checks up on the mountain. There's Sick Kid. And for Moon, there's Agina, but yeah, in addition to the Saha Eastern play here. Coxla, though, with that advantage of that Eastern big, potentially one more check in Eastern.
Yeah, if a bow happens to show up in the back of Agina's house, or Saha's house, that could be very helpful for Coxla.
Absolutely. Coxla's going to flute Cac first and do the Sick Kid check. Moon picking up 300 more rupees plus bombos in the back of Saha. Coxla gonna sell that B for another 100 rupees back, but
Little does he know there's another 300 waiting for him.
yeah, there's been no shortage of money here. So Coxla heading up to the mountain. Moon gonna do that, that mushroom turn in. And yeah, options starting to winnow pretty quickly. Both players here are gonna converge up on the mountain.
So if we found a Moon Pearl, that would give us Dark World access. A bow would give us a completable Eastern, at least on Coxla's side. Oh no.
Oh,
That's unfortunate.
that's just, yeah, really unfortunate RNG up there on the mountain for Coxla. He did save the old man first. And again, being Moon Pearl away from Dark World access, you're really, I mean, not not at all enthused about a prospective Aga play. And boy, these Dead Rocks are not playing nice with Coxla.
And yeah, speaking of Aga, with Lamp and Cape, we do have logical access.
Just 50 rubies a top Spectacle Rock. Underneath, there's the Moon Pearl.
Okay, so we don't have to suffer through Aga, hopefully.
Yeah, and with Flute and early mitts, that opens up a lot of possibilities, a lot of checks. Right now, Skullwoods is beatable. Both players with that Fire Rod. Fighter Sword and 4 or 5 hearts, not necessarily the most fun, but it's a
Yeah, those
possibility.
early pieces of heart that Coxla was pointedly avoiding may actually end up being relevant.
So we will see where both players up to go here. You would assume that they're both going to head north of CAC and into the Dark World via their midst Dark World access. Moon is going to do the Sick Kid check first, though.
Oh, Coxla making nice use of that bug net and getting a free fairy, which is actually important. We have our third pendant at Swamp.
Yeah, TR was the other 5/6 in addition to Eastern.
Well, that's
And
unpleasant.
yeah, I did not see whether it was pod or ice that was the last of the pendants.
Pod is green
Oh,
pendant,
pod.
because
There we go.
Saha told us.
Oh, I did not hear that earlier. Good catch. Yeah, that was really quick thinking on Coxla's side, unearthing that fairy and having the peace of mind to quickly scoop it.
Well, we're getting a little bit of a divergence now. Coxla is heading into Skull Woods, and Legendary Moon is heading into Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, Coxla again making the very aggressive skull play. There's yet another 300 in C-shaped house on Moonside. With half magic and fire, in addition to that fire rod, obviously. Even with fighter sword, you can hopefully keep your range in the moth fight. And as we did see, Coxla picked up that fairy, so it's still a daunting fight. But he does have some good safeties in reserve and ability to handle moth.
And of course, our runners are very good at what they do. They make it look easy. So
Yeah, absolutely. Moon heading out of village up into doing a reverse course. We do have bumper ledge available here. The players did pick up that cape. And just bombs.
Alright, and Coxla is into the moth fight. He's taking this very methodically. Oh, takes one hit there, but he's landing most of his fire rod shots. He's got one more. Or two more, pardon me.
Unfortunate death, but again, Coxla wisely picked up that fairy, though. Very low on magic at this point, though. There it is. Just one more slash is all it took, but very good
Nicely
job by
done.
Coxla. Yeah.
And that's Samaria in the front of Skullwoods.
Plus the big ice. Okay.
Another sometimes forgotten part of the Big Key Shuffle is that every dungeon has one more item in it, which we are just seeing here. 3 items in Skullwoods. 2 of those were big keys.
Yeah, and two big keys that are the dungeons that you can, by a certain means, often beat without the big key, which is a little bit funny and sometimes in this mode a little bit frustrating too. But at the very least, the players do have the logical access to beating those, which is actually something that is kind of the forgotten component sometimes, because as you noted earlier, a lot of times you look at the pendant crystal layout and you go, oh, this looks like a great avenue to do things and do stuff out of logic, and then you miss some of the in-logic implications.
Well, Legendary Moon will get to save a little bit of time by not having to go check the bridge chest after defeating Moth. But Coxla is on his way to picking up Samaria and those 2 big keys.
Yeah, especially with Myth's Dark World access, when your plan is to beat Skullwoods right away, a lot of times folks will opt for the route that Coxla took, so that you don't have to double back, since you're already going to be coming to the front back into Village of Outcasts.
And
But
this
Moon,
room
as
there
you, yeah,
Legendary Moon took out those Gibdos with Ether, one of those few rooms where Ether's very useful and efficient.
yeah, that's a great point. And with half magic, you have no worries about burning a bit of it to use that ether medallion. Just get it done quickly. Don't put yourself in any rough situation. Moon into the moth fight. Taking a couple hits. She does have that blue potion. She's also going to whip out the cape here. Getting moth off the spikes, though, can be a challenge. Tricky spot here for Moon.
Maybe she wants to use that potion now.
Yeah, oh my, those spikes. She's definitely dodging, but There it is. All right. Moth is just not coming into very good spots here for her. There it is.
That was intense. Well done.
Definitely made you sweat it out, but both players in that moth fight, really good job. Again, they went into it with very little health, 4 or 5 hearts respectively, but made use of their resources. And, welcome into the Raiders from Nobly. Thank you for joining us here on A Leak to the Past Randomizer League for this match against between Coxla and Legendary Moon. Still really early. Both players just clutched out a tough moth fight. Very impressive on both ends.
So what I said earlier about Legendary Moon saving some time, scratch
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, occasionally it's pretty easy to lose track of items, especially once you get into that situation where you're in that fight where things making you sweat a little bit, and then you start thinking to yourself, wait a second, did I count those items right initially?
Well, the first 4 checks in Thieves Town turned up nothing of value.
Yeah, so Moon went back to the potion shop, replenished her potion, so she's probably going to follow in Coxla's steps here, cleaning up the rest of the stuff in Village of Outcast Thieves Town before heading south. Big key on Dig Game 2. Hurdle Rock, well, that's our second 5/6 crystal.
It's nice to have that turn up. Oxley going to pick up the Smith, and it looks like he is... Oh, just jumping off the ledge. Okay.
Yeah, with no other dungeons currently clearable, the players are going to be aiming for as close to item density as they can here, trying to see where the next piece of progression comes in.
A very useful hook shot in Hype Cave.
Yeah,
Blue
that's
Mail's nice.
yeah.
Master Sword. And a book.
Okay.
You know, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. That was a Hype Cave.
Is the -1 for the book?
Yeah.
I mean, it's making you do homework. You have to go translate things. And yeah, that is the entirety of East Death Mountain save for getting the item off of Floating Island. So a very lucrative hype cave there. Obviously, having that second sword as soon as you can is certainly going to be appreciated by both players. I see that Shin is giving this a negative infinity for the book. Tough but fair.
And Coxla is heading right up the mountain. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, right now you've got 8 items here in the Light World on East Death Mountain. You've got another 6 between Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave.
And of
Absolutely,
course,
yeah.
we'll get a look at the floating island and see what the medallion requirement is for TR. And we just found a bow in Paradox Cave.
Yeah, that's a clearable Eastern Palace right now for Coxla. Moon still needs to get that big key from Agina. Coxla is down to 1 bomb here. He's gonna go. Oh, good game knowledge here.
Well, it's a good thing he did buy those bombs because he would have a problem right now
Yeah.
otherwise.
You'd have to be going the long way up the mountain.
Okay, that one's defective. He's going to try again.
That's good additional game knowledge right now. You have to know whether the bombs that you've just purchased are good or not.
Yeah, I mean, if you're purchasing explosives from some rando hidden in a cave inside a cave, I'd have some questions.
Yeah, I would be very suspicious of that. And it looks like just a shield up on Floating Island, so
Well, I'm really disappointed we are not going to get to see the mirror shield today.
before going up the mountain, Moon's gonna head out to the mire area here. I did not see what that medallion was, though.
That was way too pixelated.
Yeah. Oh, good, more money.
Okay, so Meyer Chef just had a bottle with a fairy, which is nice to have when you're still on 6 hearts.
Yeah, and I really don't mind that that quick check there on Moon's side. Obviously, you'd love to do it when you have the mirror, but there's never a guarantee, especially in a mode like this, that you're going to find the mirror outside of GT. Get that information on Meyer, get those couple quick checks, because those are easy things to forget about once you go up to the mountain and potentially find items that can lead you toward dungeon clears. And Obscure is confirming that it is Quake for Misery Mire entrance. So that is a medallion we have yet to see.
Great. It's, in fact, the only one we haven't seen. And we're about to see TR. Is it going to be a vanilla Quake? That was Bombos.
And we do have that.
Actually, where was Bombos, and why does Coxla not have it? I don't remember.
I want to say that Bombos was in like C-shaped house.
Oh, there was the last shield. You could just... Oh, we don't have the mirror.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, you know, no mirror.
Our tracker, Obscure Lifeform, telling us Bombos was in Saha's closet, so
Oh,
Coxla will be
right.
getting that pretty soon.
That is true,
But
yeah.
Neustria is saying it was actually Ether for TR, so I'm just wrong.
Coxa is looking to go to Spike Cave, but no hammer. Yeah, I think he just
he realized.
Yeah, yeah. Easy thing to forget about. When you're up there, you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna clear out this entire mountain. Surely have hammer by now. No. So for Coxla, this play is pretty easy. Go fully beat Eastern here, check out Saha after that, and see if you get any clear direction from those two plays. For Moon, it's a little bit more complicated. Given
See,
that there
having
are,
that book might lead her to the desert, but she doesn't have the desert big.
yeah, it's a lot of incomplete options, and the things in the Dark World are either diving ice without the hammer, or going all the way to Pod from the Midst Dark World access, and the Mire Big, the first item here in Eastern. Interesting.
Obscure life form confirming that I'm actually not losing my mind and it was Bombos for TR.
This has been a very exciting medallion tracking thus far.
I'm really liking Tressa's theme here in Eastern Palace.
Yeah, I've definitely heard this MSU used by a few people. It's a very nice one. Now, Moon is down on the mound. We'll see where she opts to go. Coxla here at the Vanilla Big Key Chest in Eastern, pulling a map. Last item is on the Armos Knights.
I don't think either of them could have gone to Hera because we have no hammer and no mirror. Oh, no, obscure life form, realized. Okay, so this is the desert area for Legendary Moon. She will pick up that Eastern Big and then probably go to Eastern.
Yeah, this is probably the best case scenario here for Moon. Even if she had taken that dive into Desert first, which she's not, Agina certainly would have been checked after she'd exhausted her checks in there. We'll see if this will create the immediate pivot that you noted. Oh, but she's running out. She could still be fluting after this.
I wonder, is this actually faster than saving and quitting?
I've been told that saving quitting out of there is the quicker option. But yeah, Moon is going to immediately follow Coxla's lead, and the Armos fight's gone a little off script here on Coxla's side.
But that's fine, he recovers and gets a piece of heart. And one of the 5-6 crystals for his trouble.
So Coxla's going to head to Saha here, going to pick up that Bombos medallion, but kind of start getting back to the situation I mentioned a few moments ago of, which incompletable option do you want to go lean on here? Yeah, a couple folks in chat noting that Pod is definitely looking a little bit suspicious. It is the most item-dense location. It is just a little bit of a pain to get to.
Yeah, without that hammer we have to swim the long way. But we can get there, and we have plenty of money to pay off the monkey.
Yeah, first, Cox is going to follow Moon's earlier lead out to the mire area, check the mire shed and the mire medallion, find out that he does not presently have access to mire. Which was, that absolutely makes sense when you have the mire big in addition to Samaria. That could have potentially been fully clearable, but it's not to be right now.
This is looking like a desert tip for Coxla.
Yeah, I can definitely see this one. This is the one light world location that they have. Anywhere you go in Dark World obviously kind of locks you out a little bit, especially Ice Palace. There's always the possibility that you get the really bad desert layout. That starts with one of those items being on Torch, and the compass being in this chest, and the small key being locked in the big chest, and all of a sudden you get nothing out of this. So we'll see what comes up here. Well, 10 arrows, but effectively the same thing.
At least it wasn't a waste of a lot of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And with boots, those checks are at least quicker than they are if you have to plod your way around these dungeons. It is looking like Ice Palace now on Coxla's side.
That seems to be the case. So we're actually just a hammer away from being able to full clear ice.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you gotta figure that the hammer's going to be coming up pretty soon. It is locking a decent amount of stuff. Full heart first item here in Ice Palace as Moon heads into the Armos Knights fight.
Unfortunately, this chest is one of the things you have to leave behind with no hammer. H for hammer, right?
Yes. And then U for unfortunately no hammer. So let's see where Moon opts to go now. She is going back into the Cac portal. I mean, a nice third sword there in ice for Coxla. Big key to desert. Okay.
Oh, that's just funny. So it looks like Legendary Moon is going to head across the North Dark World to get Catfish Pyramid and then go to Pod.
I need to see Moon actually go to Catfish with my own eyes to believe it. Moon, are you actually going to Catfish? Oh my goodness.
And Coxla's heading right back to Desert with that shiny new big key.
Yeah, makes total sense. Yet another completable dungeon, you know, following the items here, following the keys. Catfish? Yeah, just a trio of bombs.
Come on, the polite thing to do is throw one of them back at least.
think it's the upset of the day that the bombs were not thrown at Catfish. So Cocktail's gonna pull the small key here from the big chest. Yeah, this is just not really a fun layout here in Desert without the mirror, unfortunately. Coxel's going to opt to beat Landmos first and then possibly come back into the dungeon, depending on how many items are on the right side. I would assume he'd probably come back in anyway, but...
Yeah, we saw 10 arrows as the first of 3 items.
Moon is going to make this pod play here, though.
There's a lot of items here, but if the pod big were to turn up in Desert, that would be pretty bad for her and very good for Coxla.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, the hammer could just turn up in pod, making ice completable. You never know. That's why this mode is so fun. Well, that's the compass, so 2 items on right side Desert. Well, I mean, they call it Palace of Darkness for a reason, but I wasn't actually expecting it to be this dark.
I don't know. The lamp is malfunctioning or something. Hopefully we can get Moon back shortly. Coxla's gonna head back in the desert for those 2 items you noted.
Okay, just 1 1/4 heart containers. Nothing to write home about.
Yeah, for Coxla now, his options are pretty
Yeah,
slim.
really took a moment to think about that, and let's see where he heads. Our wonderful tracker obscure life form informing us that Moon got hammer first chest in pod.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's potentially exceptionally good for Coxla too, because as Obscure also noted, an Ice Rod in addition to that hammer would put Coxla in go mode. Oh, we have Moon back. She left after that hammer and is in Ice Palace right now.
Right, so let's just quickly go over the math for getting our 2 Triforce pieces here. So that Ice Rod would give us TR, and that's the second red crystal, of course. We would need a total of 5 crystals to get into GT, so 3 in addition to Eastern and TR. We already have Skull Woods, Ice is completable, and she's going to find the Desert Big, and that'll give her Desert.
Yep. And we'll also pick up the third sword that Coxla has here.
It'd be pretty funny if the Ice Rod was right here.
Just a full heart. It'll be interesting to see what Coxla opts to do after he heads to Odd here and finds that hammer, whether he decides to stick it out and see if there's anything more in the especially in the back of Pod, or if he follows Moon's lead and heads to that fourth completable crystal dungeon.
Yeah, because on his side, ice is mostly cleared out, so he might not, well, probably won't want to rush all the way back there.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And again, Hammer does open access to some places, but you know, it's going the long way around the mountain to get up to Hera and Ether Tablet, diving into the front of Turtle Rock, Spike Cave in play too. So Pod might still feel like the best option here in terms of, you know, getting into go mode or potentially giving yourself additional options.
And there's Coxla's hammer, and he's continuing on, which makes perfect sense.
See on Moon's side picking up that Tempered Sword, that Desert Palace Big Key. She's going to head here into the Cold Stare fight soon, but trying to drum up a few additional hearts. Look like the Baris might be in a low value pack though.
She does have a fairy, so she should be fine.
Yeah, plus Bombos, Fire Rod, half magic.
Oh, very nicely done, Cold Stare fight.
Yeah, that's crystal number 3 on the board for Legendary Moon. So you would think that she would follow Coxla's earlier lead and head out to Desert Palace. It looks like Coxla just came up with a bunch of keys downstairs and on the right side.
Well, Pod is particularly known for its keys. It's what all the tourists go to have a look at.
And it's especially tricky when you find that item in the an item in the first chest and then have to go right side and find keys. You don't really get a gauge as to how many are going to be in the front. There has to be at least 4, but turns out it was 2 items and 4 small keys in the front of Pod.
So we are in Ice Rod Go mode, but of course, the beauty of this mode is that the Ice Rod could just not be somewhere nice, and we might have to do something else for our Triforce piece.
Yeah, absolutely. The Ice Rod for access to that second 5/6 crystal. Stuff for the various pendants could easily be in GT. This would obviously necessitate access to some of the other crystal dungeons, but
Moon forgot to pick up that small key, so she's gonna have to do that. And Battle Project reminding us in chat about that shovel on Lumberjack Ledge.
oh gosh, right, the shovel. Oh no. Yeah, there's plenty of exciting places that could be. There is an item on Helmasaur too. which is not presently accessible for Coxlaw. Oh, and in the big chest as well.
So
So,
pod was not the answer.
yeah, I mean,
I
provided
mean, it
the
had one of
hammer,
the answers, but we
yeah.
already got that.
Yeah, so Coxlaw is surely going to head on back to Ice Palace here and finish that beat of that dungeon. And he and Moon could probably be on relatively even footing at that point, and it's going to be coming down to where you opt to go and where you can find something that can get you access either the GT or maybe beat Turtle Rock. Because if that Ice Rod remains elusive, in order to get into GT, the players would need to find either the Thieves Town Big or the Quake Medallion to get into Mire.
Do you think it'd be reasonable to just go to TR and hope you find the ice rod there? Because if you do, you can just go straight to GT.
I would definitely be heading up the mountain. As to whether you'd hedge first and check out Ether Tablet and Hera beforehand, but yeah, I think after that, it's the most item dense location left out here with the Fire Rod. You know that you're going to be able to get all the way to Laser Bridge. I think it is the most likely location to have an answer of some kind, probably. But yeah, I would definitely be tempted, as Nobly notes in chat, to do left side of the Light World Mountain here for those few quick checks.
Yeah, that makes sense, because if you didn't, and we have no mirror, you'd have to do an entire mountain climb again just to get there.
Yeah, that lack of mirror makes it especially brutal. And Moon taking out Lambos here, so that is crystal number 4 on the board from Legendary Moon. Coxla, meanwhile, about to head into the Cold Stare fight, and yeah, we're going to get into decision-making time again for these two players.
Yeah, so in terms of crystals, they both will have 4. Coxla is ahead the rest of the rest of most of Pod clear, but hopefully that won't end up being a factor, but it could.
Yeah, Moon is she might be heading back to Pod, actually. So that could be a pretty significant advantage for Coxla here.
And it makes perfect sense knowing what she knows, because there are a bunch of items still in here, but we know it's not the right answer.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is, since she did opt to nope out after that hammer, I would kind of want to be prioritizing the other areas simply because of that decision. If nothing else had opened up, I think I probably would have followed Moon's lead here. Coxlid has headed to the mountain. We'll see which avenue he opts for here. And it's looking like TR is looks like TR is going to be the play here on Coxla's side.
Alright, first check in pod is going, or not pod, TR, is going to be a small key.
Yeah, there's another dungeon where the lack of mirror just a little bit obnoxious for, especially for the front of Turtle Rock.
Well, more money we don't need, and another heart container. Very nice strat there to get rid of the beetles by Legendary Moon. I don't think I've seen anyone get a triple like that before.
It was pretty cool.
And your daily reminder, those chain chomps really hurt even on blue mail.
I think that Moon realized with the way the keys were laid out that there was still an item of some kind, whether it was dungeon item or actual item, sitting in the front. Just not very friendly pod layout today. Coxla obviously still looking for items here to beat TR. Gonna check out Lava Chest for yet another full heart. So that is already half of the allotment of 6 items in Turtle Rock that have been found in the front.
Gonna have to skip Mimic Cave here, having no mirror.
Moon has joined Coxla on the mountain. That's a 3rd full heart in Turtle Rock.
Wow.
Will be interesting to see where, which option Moon chooses. I mean, if Coxla comes up empty here and TR and Moon heads to Hera and Ether Tablet, that could be a potential swing if something is over there.
In fact, if the Ice Rod does turn up for Coxla here, that's a pretty significant lead he would have.
Yeah, it would be pretty pretty tough, I think, for Moon to come back from that. But she is heading to Ether Tablet and Hera area first, so obviously at least, I mean, there's definitely going to be a small key here on Laser Bridge. Potentially 2 more items.
Okay, so this is where all the heart containers were.
I guess. Yeah.
Oh, another free fairy. Okay, so TR did not have the answer.
No, last item in Turtle Rock is on Trinax, so Let's see where players opt to go now. Coxla did not start up on the... Oh, he's going to flute up to the mountain.
So this is a significant chunk of time Coxla has to invest getting back up the mountain, because he does not have the mirror.
Man, this Hera has not been terribly, terribly interesting either, so...
Oh no!
Moldorm strikes again.
1-0 for the worm.
Nicely done the second time around here for Legendary Moon.
The map, so there is an item in the basement. And our first pendant.
Yeah, we're still multiple items away from being able to complete the other pendant dungeons.
So Legendary Moon is being thorough and going back. It's entirely possible she could have been tempted by TR. But it looks like she's gonna go finish off Hera.
Yeah, I think I would probably be doing the same thing here. You commit to the Hera play first. I would also possibly be tempted into doing Spike Cave prior to Turtle Rock.
That's also a choice. Especially
Again,
since we actually have the hammer this time.
Yeah. Yes, it's a thing that's just really hard isolated again. Coxla rushing Moldorm here. And you got that exciting map. Hera basement has 20 rupees.
Oh, and we have to walk all the way out. So, what other terrible locations do we have? We still have Purple Chest. Hammer pegs are there as well.
Yeah.
Spike Cave, we got that shovel. Coxla still has his mushroom and could fake powder if he wanted to.
That is true, yeah. Yeah, no, hey, as you noted, to answer the question in chat, hammer pegs was not checked due to primarily to where the hammer was. But yeah, Moon is very recently going to head over to Turtle Rock, which does put the advantage a little bit back in Coxla's favor, because this is a long dungeon to get through. You know, we know that Moon's not going to come up with anything that she's looking for here. Coxla ain't looked to be setting up a potential death warp.
A very slow and measured death warp, and he's got to release his fairy first.
and not accidentally walk into the fairy. Good thinking there on Coxla's side, though. Oh, there was another one.
Oh, that's right.
It's always the second fairy that sneaks up on you. And the first one just won't go away.
Okay, that has to be the most entertaining death warp I've ever seen.
Alright, so Coxla's done with Hera. gonna give us our first look here at Spike Cave. And again, with Moon pretty much locked into taking TR all the way to Laser Bridge, Coxla's gonna have the ability to do some of those less than fun checks first here.
Okay.
Oh, a mirror.
So that
Alright.
gives us Swamp and
And some
a whole lot of
fun
other
mirror
one-off
checks.
checks.
Yeah.
Like Mimic Cave.
Like Mimic Cave. That's true. Oh no. Yeah, Mimic Cave. Oh boy. I don't know where Mimic Cave stacks up vis-a-vis the shovel at this point in terms of things that you really just never want to have to do.
And you know what's actually really funny is Legendary Moon could have had that mirror before coming to TR.
Yeah, that's why I kind of thought that was Moon's motivation for running out of Hera. Because once you're in the basement there, you might as well just save and quit to the guy in the mountain. But yeah, Mirror opens up a lot of stuff. The one-offs that are kind of spread out a decent amount. Plus, Swamp Palace here, which does have 7 items. Players do have that big key, so nothing would potentially get left behind.
You know, if it is actually in the Swamp Big Chest, I think that's what we would call foreshadowing.
And when the pod big key showing up at some point would also open the avenue to the pedestal Triforce piece, but you'd still at that point need some way to get a 5th crystal on the board.
We could very well end up in the worst case here where we need 5 crystals and head for our Triforce pieces.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. Again, with it being the Ice Rod as the key item for that second 5/6, as folks noted earlier, I mean, that's elusive in every mode, and everything's on the table right now, with that mirror being the item that Coxla pulled out of Spike Cave. Oh, now Bats and Logic. So
Actually, that's a nice cluster of checks after, well, Swamp to Bombo's Tablet, and then you could go do Hammer Pegs, Magic Bat, and Purple Chest.
yeah, it does work out about as ideally as those checks can at this point. I would say that Graveyard Ledge is a little bit isolated, but it's kind of been isolated since the players got those mitts so early and were able to do King's Tomb, so... to answer your question, chat, no, they did not fake powder. Coxla did save scum his mushroom, whereas Moon was in a harder position to do so and just turned it in for, I don't even remember what it was, 20 rupees maybe?
Yes, actually, it was.
But yeah, getting back to that, Kakariko Village of Outcast area has not been a priority for either of the players. And for Moon, it really wasn't even much of anything of interest. Start to the Argus fight here by Coxla. Oh.
Very efficiently done.
Yeah. Almost got the 0 cycle. A little bit caught up there toward the back end, but still extremely efficient. And 2 Fire Rod shots and a Tempered Spin, and boom, Argus is done. For silvers.
Hey, that's nice.
And a second pendant.
A nice piece of game knowledge on Legendary Moon side, that tree has a full magic drop if you bonk it.
I was not counting items in Swamp. I'm not sure what is
I
actually
know
left.
I know we saw the map, I don't recall seeing the compass.
Yeah, if there's only one there, I can 100% understand Coxlow's play here. A lot of stuff popped in. Oh, hello, Quake.
That's not the right medallion. Who put that there?
That's a beatable Meyer right now for a fifth
Oh no!
crystal.
Wait,
Oh,
there it is!
oh my. Oh no.
Oh my goodness! This race just did a 180.
Yeah, this is very intriguing now. Cox was likely to pick up that ice rod relatively soon, but yeah, Moon is going to have the advantage of getting back to Turtle Rock first. And Cox is going to find a big key too.
Oh no!
Thieves. That's... Ooh, that's interesting.
I mean, I do agree. It's unlikely he's gonna get lettuce. Oh no!
Oh, it's...
Maybe not. Oh
I can...
no!
You can understand it, though, unfortunately, because this is a fifth clearable crystal for Coxlet. Opens GT. I mean, that ice rod, again, it can be anywhere.
Yeah, and honestly, now the pod big is go mode for him as well.
That's true, yeah.
That murder dactyl is injuring him silently. Coxla has done Ice Palace.
Yeah,
Imagine
Coxlet
the
went in there initially
entire
and then
mirror.
finished, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
imagine the entire mirror being a red herring. Like, how often does that happen?
Oh my goodness. And the bad news for Coxla too, again, like you said, even if the pot bait comes that would put him in that particular go mode, he still has to beat Meyer and go beat Pod and go up to Ganon's Tower. That is a lot of stuff to have to do, whereas Moon can finish off Turtle Rock, go straight to GT, and then get the 5-6 piece out of Pyramid Fairy before the Ganon fight.
And even if it were possible, like if Coxla were to get both go modes and be able to do Pedestal and Pyramid Fairy, it's just unfortunate that it's Pod and TR that he has to go back and clear. Like, going back to TR might not even be faster than just doing GT.
Oh yeah, no.
Yes, that is a tracker software mistake. Legendary Moon has the Ice Rod, not Coxla. Moon also has Tempered Sword.
Yeah, we do know that Moon is not going to pick up silver arrows, but I mean, pretty good position other than that for the Ganon fight.
Yeah, half magic, 14 hearts. Still got a couple fairies in her bottles, I think.
Yeah, she might have at least one potion in there. And the silver arrows do make quick work of Vitreous, though, on Coxla's side.
Well, that is Coxla's 5th crystal, so he very well might just go to GT looking for his go mode.
Yeah, I think that has to be his call right now.
Another lovely thing about getting to spectate this mode is that you get to see all the little decision-making things going on.
As Nobly notes in chat, really, what Coxla needs most is not only for the Triforce piece to be pretty quick in GT, but the pod big to also be pretty quick in GT. Because even if he finds the Triforce piece immediately, the likelihood is that he's, the surety is that he's going to clear the basement until he finds one of his 2 perspective go modes, one of which we know is definitely not in Ganon's Tower, or comes up empty altogether.
Well, all things considered, it is pretty cool that both runners are going to be entering GT just around the same time.
Yeah, we will see which path these 2 players take. Moon, as noted in chat, Moon does not. Oh, okay. There's
Wow.
There's the path. The path is get the Triforce piece, and well, you don't even have Moon would. Yeah, just Moon's gonna save and quit. No mirror, but the lack of mirror doesn't matter when the first thing you check has the Triforce piece. So Legendary Moon is going to head to the Big Bomb shop, pick up the Big Bomb, go to the pyramid here. The Triforce piece is always in the left chest.
Well, at least Coxla just picked up some keys and went back to go right to Hope Room instead of going full left.
Yeah, although in Coxla's mind, he's still again hoping to find something. We know that something won't be the ice rod. It's whether the pod big is in here. We might also not find out that answer. Oh, that's
Oh, that
really
is convenient.
you don't even have to, even if Moon was considering going down to bonk the tree for the fairy, you don't have to do it anymore. It's the 15th heart right there. So yeah, Legendary Moon dropping into the Ganon fight here as Coxla continues the right side in Ganon's tower.
Is this what they call the actual Dark Magician route?
I didn't think that Dark Magician went full right, but I could be wrong. There are definitely folks who've been around here longer than I have who would certainly know better than I. We're making use of that cape and half magic there to take out the second phase of Ganon. According to Nobly and TJ, yep, you were correct. Going full right.
Oh, no luck for Coxla there. He's gonna continue on to the left. Oh. Legendary Moon's fine. She's got 2 fairies, and she definitely does still have that blue. This is some really nice final boss battle music.
Yeah, it does. It really captures the mood pretty well. He's doing a very nice job here, getting consistent doubles. And there, Ganon is down.
Well done.
Please get your GGs into chat for the winner of today's race, Legendary Moon, finishing first with an official racetime.gg time of 1:26:30.
Oh, there's the pod,
Oh
Big.
gosh. Coxla hitting go mode at that point. Can let you know that right about that point as well, Coxla did see the result in race time and opted to throw in the towel there. But I mean, this was a well played race by both players. And we are joined in the booth by the winner of today's race, Legendary Moon. GG's Moon.
Hey, thank you.
So I think this race was an excellent example of why it's a lot of fun to watch and maybe less fun to race.
I can't hear. Oh, okay. I think I'm good now. Sorry.
Oh, you're good? All right.
Yeah. Oh, so how'd that look from your end? Because it felt chaotic on mine.
It was hilarious, and it was the perfect race to cap off the week.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting one to come and watch, as Blue Link noted. The two of you were in lockstep for a good period in Light World, early Dark World, and then there was some divergence, especially with regard to going when you went to Pod was really the point at which things finally started to trend toward the end game. Did you have any thoughts on noping out a Pod after that hammer versus staying in the dungeon?
No, I really wanted the hammer to start with. I didn't want to have to go all the way through the dungeon if I didn't have to. Especially since I still didn't have the big key. I don't know where it was. Because I knew I couldn't finish it all the way through anyway, so I was going to be leaving the big chest and the boss behind, and I was trying to avoid double dipping, so afterwards, before I went up to Turtle Rock, I went back in there because I really didn't want to also leave behind the ice rod if it happened to be in there. So
Well, I can tell you Coxla did find the pod big key. It was in Rando room.
oh, well, I'm glad I never found it.
Yeah, there were a number of moments in this race that went separate ways and could have ended very differently just depending on what items ended up being where, which is how Rando works, but just it's magnified in this mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like if
we were chatting in the race room, and he had mentioned that he got mirror, and I'm like, oh, I never found that, which probably saved me the race.
honestly, yeah. And of course that shovel on Lumberjack Ledge, was that on your mind at all?
Not really. No, that would have probably been last location. I would have probably gone to Spike Cave before I went to the shovel.
Yeah, the end of the seed was, as you noted, like largely defined by the choices that were made. Coxla, I think he was the quote-unquote lead kind of swung hands a couple times toward the very end. Oxley had a little bit of advantage after you opted to go back to pod after ice, because he did clear out TR before doing the Hera play into Spike Cave, whereas Hera into TR was a little smoother for you, even if it isolated Spike Cave. But then, yeah, he got led around by the mirror, which totally reasonable. Lots of items in Swamp plus mirror locked, but it also led him to have to clear out the GT basement to looking for one of two things, and one of which we knew that you had already found and taken to go beat Turtle Rock.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, this is a really nice win, especially for your team. Is both teams here entered this match at 5-4. You split this series 1-1 after Grink knocked off Tolly in the first game. So at 6-4 with a couple weeks to go, I mean, playoffs are they something that you guys are starting to think about, or is it still just one match at a time kind of thing?
I like to approach it one match at a time and try not to think too far ahead. But yeah, I got really lucky. We've got a really good team put together, so mainly it's really just having fun for us.
It's a pretty fun group, and next week is Cross Keys. Are you in doing the Cross Keys here, Moon, or you letting Angles
no.
and Angles and Tolly are handling that?
Yeah, Angles and Tolly have that one. I'll have my fun the following week with the Atomizer.
I think that's all the questions that I have. Blue Link, do you have anything else about this match?
Not really. No, it was a lot of fun to watch, and yeah, thanks to our runners for putting on an excellent show for us.
Oh, thank you guys for putting on the show, and Calming and Obscure for doing the tracking for us. It's much appreciated.
Oh, I did want to ask about the fish.
The fish. That's a nod to Obscure.
Okay, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Rescue the fish.
What about the trash fish that you did not bomb, though?
I usually don't waste bombs on him. We glare at each other off stream time. I just hold that hammer and wave it around slightly angrily.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, I have a counter on my stream, and that will now increase to, I think it's at 2 seeds in a row where he throws trash at me. So
I mean, I see in chat that the proper emotes are out, so we're good.
Oh, so we get to look at the standings. Oh, they're gone. Well, here's the schedule.
Yeah, I think it comes back and forth, so we might get another glimpse in a moment. Still will be updated to get Missing Two Bows 6-4, yet another Bonk at 5-5. Still not out of the playoff race either by any means. But we do have that schedule of the remaining matches. There are still 2 matches come tonight, the final 2 matches of this 5th week of action in League at 8:40 p.m. Eastern on Speed Gaming. It is JKLOL taking on Amish Paradise, Jesse versus Danny Music. And here in about an hour and a half or so, 9:10 Eastern, it is IPBJ time against Ed Was Supposed to Carry Us, Bidey against Mindium. So those are 2 really great matchups coming up to close out this week. And yeah, I think that's probably going to do it for us. Blue Link, do you want to take us out?
Yeah, well, thank you again to our runners for putting on an excellent show. Thank you to my co-commentator for, not letting me flounder. Thank you, Obscure Lifeform, our tracker, MVP, keeping us from making mistakes all over the place. And thank you, everyone, for joining us and watching. And have a great day.